Hey everybody, it's Vanessa, the Crafty Gemini, and welcome to a live stream where we're talking about my latest sew-along. So we are kicking off a new sew-along where we are going to be making the Jalie Bobbie T-shirt, which I'm wearing one right now. Let's first make sure that technology is working for us. So if you're in the chat, let me know where you're tuning in from, and let's say hi to some friends. Hi, Jean, tuning in from Minnesota. I see Rose in the house from Maryland. I'm getting a bunch of glare here now since it's dark and it's kind of late. It's 8:30. We usually go live earlier than this, but we got Maite in the house from South Florida. Hey. Hi, Margie, tuning in from Wisconsin. We got Linda from Philadelphia. Dr. Susie Brown tuning in from Northern California. Hello. Hi, Glenda. Okay, great. Hi, Garnet. She's tuning in from Colorado. Awesome. And so Glenda says, I can see you and hear you. Hi, Maribel, tuning in from Pompano Beach. Let's see. Hi, Heather. Awesome. Okay. Good. We got a bunch of friends on here, some new names and some returning students. Great. All right. So we're talking about the Jalie Bobbie, which is pattern number 3880. Okay. I first released this class several years ago. It is a wardrobe staple for me, although I was looking for, I think I've made maybe between 6 and 8 of these over the years, but I'm in the process of kind of like reorganizing my closet, and that's part of the reason why we're doing these garment sew-alongs, because I need some new clothes that I'm gonna donate some, keep other ones, make them in fun fabrics, bright stuff, something fresh, new, and of course for this Florida heat, I need more tops like this. So we are making the Jalie number 3880 Bobbie T-shirt. Quick note, and this is one of the reasons I'm going live. The pattern is out of print. We had some in stock. We sold out yesterday as soon as I sent out the first email about this sew-along. So those of you that have been adding yourself to the wait list, it won't be coming back in stock because they're not printing them anymore. So the way to get the pattern is, and I included a couple of different links inside of the course. So if you've signed up for the Jalie Bobbie online video course that I teach, there's a link there. It says like start here, and in there I included links to where you can find the hard copy pattern. I found an online shop that had it. I think it said it had 7 in stock, so I don't know if that's sold out yet, but I put a link there for that. Then I put a link to an Etsy page for some sellers that were selling it there. So you kind of have to like surf around the web and see if you can find anybody who still has hard copies of these since they're now out of print. However, no worries. Jalie sells a PDF version that includes the printable like 8.5 by 11 sheets that you can print at home and then tape or glue the sheets together. It also includes an A0 formatted sheets that you can send to your local Staples or Kinko's or wherever and get it printed out. It also includes the projector file for those of you that are already, up with the times and do the whole projector on your table with the sewing pattern thing. It also includes that. Now, if you get the PDF pattern from Jalie, and I've included the link both in the course description page and in the emails I've been sending out to my e-newsletter subscribers, is when you buy the PDF there, you can choose the size because you know that Jalie patterns come in 28 different sizes. The chart on the back here, 28 different sizes. So this shirt is going to be good in terms of the pattern templates included for people who have a full bust measurement, the full circumference around the fullest part of your bust that measures from 21 inches, which is a little kid's size 2T, okay, all the way up to a U.S. woman's size 24. All right, which is the bust measurement on the chart here says 51 inches. However, if you have larger than a 51-inch bust, this pattern doesn't go bigger than that because this is one of their older patterns, like the new classes that I've been doing with the Jalie patterns. Some of them go up to like 5X. This just goes up to 2XL, but when we talk about the garment itself and the fabric that we're going to be using to make it, if you have a larger bust than 51 inches, you'll still be able to make it. I'm just going to share with you some tips on selecting a fabric that has way more stretch than what the pattern calls for, and then you'll be good to go. Does that make sense? Because, for example, the one that I have here, I made in a size Z, which is for, under the chart, it calls for if I have a bust measurement of 41.5 inches around to make it in this size. My bust is bigger than 41.5 inches, and this one fits me fine. It's still not even tight here, like there's still plenty of room. I have room in the arms, as you can see. Okay, so if you use a fabric, and this is a double brush polyester spandex fabric that has a ton of stretch in both directions, okay? Some of you that have purchased this fabric from us know you might have some in your stash. This is a good idea. It works really good for this pattern, okay? So if you use the fabric that was super, super stretchy, you can get away with, I would say probably somebody that even has like a 56-inch bust or something like that, you'd still probably have a little bit of room in there, okay? Because it is a loose fitting top. So real quick, just to give you the quick description, which I always recommend, the description of the pattern design, very important, okay? A rounded V-neck dolman top. So just those couple of words tell us what we should be expecting from this pattern. A rounded V-neck. So it is a V-neck, but it's not like a sharp V-neck that overlaps. It has no binding. There is no neckband, okay? The finishing for this top is genius. It is faced. So imagine if, for those of you that are quilters, if you made a quilt, but instead of binding it, right, like we put the 3 layers together, quilt it, and then finish off the raw edges, instead you turned and flipped it right side out. So your edges would be finished without the need for binding. Does that make sense? So that's the same idea here, where you put the fabrics together, and when you sew it, then you flip one under, and that is the facing that is under here that allows us to finish this smooth feeling rounded V-neck, okay? So nothing sticks out here because there is no band, there is no binding. This is for beginners, beginners out there. If you were a little intimidated by my Westchester Dolman top, or maybe the Jalie Laurent class that we did however many months ago, this one is like the perfect first step, okay? Because let's go ahead and give them the over-the-shoulder. Well, actually, let me tell you a little bit more now that you have me here at this angle. Okay, so you can see. It's a, remember we said rounded V-neck, so we talked about that, and a dolman top. So if you participate in my Westchester Dolman top sew-along, you know what the dolman means. It means that the sleeve is part of the front and the sleeve is part of the back. So there are no separate sleeves. So this whole thing you're seeing here, the front, is just one, let me not trip over these cords, is just one piece. Whoop, with a little slight cap sleeve. So it's not like a tank top, but you get a little bit of coverage here, which I love for summer. Now, because it is loose fitting like that, you would think that you would see a lot under here of your bra or like into your shirt, but slightly inappropriate shot, but not really here, all in the name of sewing education. Ta-da! The facing is especially long so that it covers your bust. And guess what that does? Look, when you look up here, this is how the V-neck is sewn. Apologies if I'm making sounds because my microphone is clipped here. But do you see how that you get all that coverage? So anything you see through here is part of that little top. The other thing is, and Jalie calls it like their magic V-neck, is because when you lean forward, it doesn't open up here. So you can bend down, grab stuff, and because it's part of the top, everything is still enclosed and covered. Isn't that cool? So I like it because you can wear it like this. Like this is kind of like a casual one with a cute little cactus print. You can dress it up. And on the pattern here, on the pattern cover sheet, you can see that one of the models has it styled with like a fun knit sequence top for going out. So you could dress it up if you found a fabric that had that minimum stretch requirement that the pattern calls for, and you can dress it up. And this one is even color blocked. You can see in the picture, the front is the sequence top, but the back, because they have her here from the side view, is just like a black knit. So that, I mean, one, what a great way to use up a fun, super funky kind of going out bright print, right? Whether it has sequins or glitter or whatever you want it to have, and then just couple it with plain black on the back. I think that's genius instead of having both of the fancy things, okay? Ooh, let's go ahead and pop into the chat real quick. Annette says, I've made 2 and I love them in capital letters. Awesome. Donnie Girl says, very nice. Debbie says, I made one and I love it. Who else? Oh, Donnie Girl says, I'm a beginner. I've never sewn clothes yet. This would be a great one. There's only 4 pattern pieces. So remember we said rounded V-neck, dolman top. The front is one piece, the back is one piece, and then the little facing that's underneath here is one piece for the front and one piece for the back. That's it. There's no elastic, there's no zippers, there's no buttons, there's no serger needed, nothing. All you need is a sewing machine that can do straight stitch and zigzag stitch. That's it. Okay, so, oh, awesome. Gifts HQ says, I love it. I am in. Isn't that fun? Windless Original says the bright print is always on the outside for me. So this is the thing. You could do bright on the outside and solid on the inside like I did. Now, oftentimes, those of you that purchase, you buy knits like cotton jersey, you know that a lot of times the solids, like something like this gray jersey, can be super affordable. So if you bought a couple of yards of just like a solid navy or black or gray, you could play around with the exterior of the t-shirt, making yourself 3 totally different tees, but still taking advantage of the lower cost solid or neutral that goes underneath for the facing. I mean, you would stretch your fabric and your money super good because still have 3 different shirts to wear, okay? I've made these in fun little florals, in double brush polyester spandex like this one. Those of you that, are familiar with this cactus print, I have some navy here in my stash that I'm going to make some more out of. I have it in black. Some of you probably bought it last go around in pink. This is from my stash. Those of you that have been around for a while know that we had several bolts of this back when I had my brick and mortar store. My kids and I would make clothes out of this neon leopard print green. Super fun. Now, I will say, Jalie says specifically on here, let's keep reading the description. It's a round neck V-neck dolman top, like we said, loose fitting through the body, okay? So remember I said that the size I made is for a bust of 41 and a half. My bust is larger. I think it's somewhere around like 43. So, and it's still not super tight like you would think, oh my gosh, you're making it a couple sizes smaller than you should be. Because it's loose fitting and this fabric has so much more stretch than what is called for. Real quick, the pattern calls for 20% stretch along the crosswise grain. That's it. So it doesn't specify any amount of stretch going down the lengthwise grain or vertically. Most of these knits, especially the ones that we sell in our shop, are usually going to have stretch along both directions, okay? So let's go ahead and give everybody the over-the-shoulder shot so we can talk real briefly about fabric stretch, okay? And I have a fabric here that has 40% stretch along the crosswise grain. I think we're sold out of this already. This is like really, really tiny red and white lines of a heathered knit, okay? My selvages are down here. This fabric just came out the dryer. Remember to pre-wash your fabrics when you're using it to make clothes. Quick little PSA. All right, so this, is that my selvage or my selvages are here? Let me unroll this. Okay, this way. So the selvages are down here. So running along with the selvage edge, parallel to the selvage edge is our lengthwise grain. The pattern doesn't tell us that we need to have any specific amount. So we don't, for that, right now, we won't even care about it. But it does say, and you'll see it always on the Jalie patterns on the top left of the cover sheet, it'll say what it's for, specifically for stretch knits. So please don't ask me, can I use quilting cotton to make this top? This is designed for stretch knits, okay? And it has the arrow saying 20% this way. So crosswise grain, 20%. And that just is like minimum, okay? This is the crosswise grain that runs perpendicular to the selvage. So I'm going to pinch it here. So I'm grabbing 2 layers. And then I'm going to lay it on my table on the boxes. Each one of these boxes, if y'all have been with me for a while, you've been in my classes, in my sew-alongs, in my tutorials, you know this. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to pinch at the beginning of first box and pinch at the end of the 4th box. Each one of these boxes is 1 inch and it represents 25% of the chunk that I'm pinching at the beginning and at the end. So I'm grabbing 4 inches in between my fingers here. And then my left hand stays still and then I pull with my right. See how many more boxes over I can stretch from here, from the 4th box over. So I can stretch it to the 1st box. That means 25% more, right? Because I said each box represents 25%. So if I stretch it to this one, that means right now I have 25% stretch. I keep pulling to see if I can reach, and I can't quite reach to the next box. So it's not quite 50% stretch. I'll call it 40, okay? So you see how much this fabric stretches. That's it. So 20% stretch would be like that. You don't need a fabric that's super stretchy if you're going to make it so that it fits exactly as the designer intended with their pattern design, okay? So always know that if you go way more stretchier than what is called for, it's going to fit bigger and looser. And in this case, especially for those of you that maybe have a bust that's larger than the 51 inches, don't think like, oh, I have a 54-inch bust. I probably can't make this pattern. You probably could. Just use a fabric that, like mine, has a ridiculous amount of stretch. Let's grab the navy cactus print here and we're going to stretch it real quick just so you can see the difference in the amount of stretch. So here's my selvage and we said perpendicular to the selvage. So I'm going to pinch here and put it flat on 4 inches. And I had somebody email me the other day and ask, hey, if I don't have my cutting mat with me when I'm at the store, how do I do this? Just take a little ruler or take the bolt over to the cutting table. And they usually will have, depending on the store, they usually will have either measuring tape taped down or some type of built-in ruler or measuring system on the table. And then you can just measure it there yourself, okay? So you can know before you buy the fabric if it has the amount of stretch you're looking for. So again, I'm pinching at the beginning, 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes over, pinch again. This has 25, 50, 75, 100, and almost 125% stretch. So now, my friends, you see why this one fits me like that, even though it's a couple sizes smaller. So hopefully that makes sense in your mind in terms of kind of like a sliding scale. You have to always be aware of the combination between the fabric that you're using and the size you're cutting. If it stretches more than what is called for, it's going to fit bigger, looser, which you might want, right? And you go the opposite way too. You could probably still make it with a fabric that has a little bit less stretch than what the pattern calls for. Just know that you'll probably have to size up because it's going to fit smaller than the pattern designer intended it to. Does that make sense? So it goes both ways. More stretch, bigger; less stretch, smaller. Okay? So let's see. Donna's asking, could you add length to the pattern to make a summer comfy dress? So that's going to depend on your body type because this is, and let's continue reading the description here, it's loose fitting through the body and fitted at the hips, okay? So it's straight up and down. Go ahead and give them the front camera shot again so that we can talk a little bit more and they can see the full shirt. So it's straight up and down. There's no shaping at the waist. For those that participated in my Westchester Dolman top sew along recently, you know that we had that shaping at the waist because it's designed to be fitted and more based on an hourglass figure. This is not. So it's just going to fit you loose through here. So you got to think about how your body relates to those specific characteristics of this finished top. So for example, if you have a large bust and you're slim at the waist and hips straight up and down, it might fit you snug at the bust like kind of mine does where it's like right over top of it, but then it's going to fit you super loose through the waist and through the hips, okay? For me, because I have kind of an hourglass figure, so I have a larger bust, my waist goes in and then my hips go back out, you see how it's loose around the waistline, okay? But then over my jeans, I mean, it's not tight, you know what I mean? But like it's definitely on the jeans, if that makes sense, okay? Because it goes straight up and down. So if you're wanting to make it longer, I would definitely recommend that you run a prototype and see if it works for the way that you're shaped beyond the length of the hem of this, okay? All right, let's see. This glare on the screen. Winless Original says, I made one for my bestie. She loves it. Awesome. Hi, Laura. She says, I love this. Great. Oh, Winless Original says that the bright print is always, that's what she said, that the bright print is always on the outside for her. Me too. Me too. Sometimes if the outside is plain, then I'll do a pop of color on the little facing. But just so y'all know, okay, 4 pieces. We talked about it. Front, back, exterior, front, back of the little facing that goes underneath. Okay, go ahead and put up, you want to put up some of the pictures just so that y'all can see that based on the fabric that you're choosing to use, it can be casual, it can be fancy like we talked about, like they show on the cover sheet of the pattern here with the sequins. That picture that we have up right now is one that I made out of a see-through. It's like a sheer burnout tissue knit, and I did that one as like a workout tee. I live in Florida. When I'm working out, it's hot, I'm sweaty, and so even still with a sports bra, I use like a cotton spandex underneath for the facing. It wasn't too many layers to like overheat me or anything like that, but it helped to have kind of like this looser tee over top of that facing because again, you have plenty of room in the arms and you'll see like if I lift this up, this is not a tank either, like really narrow like a spaghetti strap. The facing covers everything all the way down and through here, through the V-neck, okay? And it's so comfy. Go ahead and show them another one because I want to remind y'all too that the pattern, if you don't want to make it for yourself, it includes 28 sizes. So you can see one there that I made for my daughter when she was itty bitty. Now she's bigger than me. But this is super cute for like little girls and like preteens where they're not yet wearing like training bras and little sports bras and things. That facing adds just that extra layer of coverage and it's super comfy. Just use a cotton knit, you know? And it worked out really, really good on that one, especially because that white knit, we sold that back then. And it was a little bit sheer, and so I did like a bright pink underneath for the facing for her, and she used to love that little shirt. Super cute. What else we got up there? Oh, some of my students, shout out to April. You can see right there, she made it, you can see the drapiness of that top, right? It looks almost like... I don't know, like a tissue knit, some type of a tie-dye tissue knit because it's drapey, it's nice and loose, still comfy. You can wear that casual, and I think that one just turned out super, super cute. I don't know if she's on here, but These are just pictures from my students who post pictures to the Sewing Clothes with Crafty Gemini Facebook group. You can join that group, and that's where we do all the things I have to do with my garment sewing classes, okay? It's called Sewing Clothes with Crafty Gemini, again. Katie's asking, is a directional print okay to use? Absolutely. I mean, mine has cacti on it, and I used it because it's the whole thing is just straight up and down. So as long as you have the stretch that you need going in the direction that the pattern calls for, obviously, at least 20% stretch going this way, then you just cut your pieces so that everything reads top to bottom. And on the back, top to bottom. So where sometimes if we're inserting sleeves or putting bands, I know we ran into this with the Westchester Dolman top, you're like, oh, well, we're going to fold it up and then, you know, whatever the little palm trees are or something are going to be sideways. You don't have that issue here because the pieces just cut one and one for the back. Okay? All right. Let's see. Meow is asking, what if you ordered 2 different fabrics with different stretchiness? One for the underbra, like the facing part, and one for the shirt. I actually do that every time. Every time. So one of the things I was going to mention too is that Jalie says that they don't recommend you use double brush polyester spandex for the top. But for me, and this is double brush polyester spandex, I made a bunch of them out of this fabric. Here is the trick that I have found, at least that works for me. I don't use DBP for the outside main and for the facing, okay? They're gonna cling to each other if you do that. So this is DBP, but the facing is cotton spandex. And I have found that that combination, one, is a dream to wear because that way I don't have the polyester right up against my bust and underarms and everything. Because the top is still, you know, the DBP is still lightweight, you can see how much room you have in the underarm area. So there's nothing like really like, you know, tight, stuck to you, making you sweat overtime, right? So the cotton spandex underneath works perfectly as the facing, and then I use the DBP for the exterior because it's loose fitting, and I find that it's drapey, and even here in Florida, it's fine for me, okay? So that's the combination. I don't use DBP and DBP for the facing, all right? Another note, we were selling fabric. I think we may still have a couple of colors or prints and stuff left, but we were selling them in 1 yard cuts. Because no matter what size you're making, the max amount required is 1 yard. 1 yard. What garment y'all know you can make out of 1 yard? So it's 1 yard for the exterior and 1 yard for the facing. Okay? So get 1 yard of something you like for the outside, get another yard of something you like for the underneath, right? For the facing part. And you'll still have some more left over, but that's just a good rule of thumb. 1 yard for the outside, 1 yard for the facing. That's all you need. This is like the most easy peasy, beginner-friendly project. And of course, my video course features 10 step-by-step video lessons. If you sign up for the class right now, and this week only, we are offering it for $40 off the regular price, okay? And the videos, as you know, if you sign up for any of my classes, they never expire. You can log in whenever, watch them again. Those of you that signed up for this class and already have it in your student account because you signed up years ago when we first released it, participate in this so long you'll be able to jump back in. Obviously, the videos are still there because you've had the class. And I will be hosting 2 live Q&A sessions so that I can answer your pre-submitted questions, okay? So if you sign up right now, you save $40 on the class, and you can start watching all the videos. Everything on how to pick your size, choosing the fabric, prepping your fabric, tracing the pattern, cutting the pattern. There's 10 step-by-step video lessons walking you through everything already. And then we have 2 live scheduled. One live is going to be this coming Sunday, June 23rd, and then I think the other one is Wednesday, June 26th. Now, if you can't catch us live on those 2 days, no worries, because the replay will be embedded in the course, in your student accounts, so that if you can't watch live, you can always go back and watch it and see, you know, if you submit a question, go back and watch it so you can find out my answer to it. We're going to do those 2 live Q&As. So y'all have plenty of time. Grab your fabric, pop it in the wash and dry, and then get ready to follow along so you can make one of these with us, okay? Let's see. Oh, Meow says, I already signed up. Awesome. Yeah, let me know in the chat. If you've already signed up or you already have the class, let me know in the chat, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook. Go ahead and let me know. Let's see. Hi, Lucretia. She says, came in a little late. What type of fabric for the facing? So a knit that has at least 20% stretch along the crosswise grain. What I was saying earlier was that I don't recommend double brush poly spandex for the exterior and the facing. So when I use DBP for the outside, I use cotton spandex, some type of light cotton jersey for the facing part, okay? All right, now let's go ahead and give them the over-the-shoulder camera shot again. I just want to show this so they can see it with their own eyeballs. Y'all. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 pattern pieces. That's it. If you don't think you can sew clothes and take this class, trust me, you're going to be sending me pictures of you wearing a Jalie Bobbie. There's no which way around this. You're going to make this top. So think about all you need. The pattern, my video course, so you have no questions, right? So step by step, 10 video lessons. The, what did I say? Oh, I said the pattern, the fabric. Remember we talked about 1 yard for the outside, 1 yard for the facing. Obviously, if you're making it for a little kid, you don't quite need as much. But if you're going to make any of the adult sizes, 1 yard for outside, 1 yard for the facing, you'll be plenty. Now, if you're going to use the same fabric, so say you have a cotton spandex fabric that you want to use, and you know you can use the same fabric for the outside and the facing because none of them are double brush poly spandex. Or maybe you have a rayon blend. This is like a cotton rayon and spandex blend that I have here. We're all sold out of this floral. Apologies to those of you who were trying to get it. We sold out yesterday. But say you had something like this, okay, and you wanted to do everything in it, the outside and the facing. Notice that the pattern tells you if you are making it, if you're out of the same fabric, all I would need for my size Z is 1 3/4 yards. Okay, so you can see how you use a little bit less because if you're getting it out of one continuous chunk and you're using the same fabric, you can get away with a little bit less. The smallest adult size only calls for 1 1/4. So some of y'all can be making this out of like a yard to a yard and a quarter of one fabric. There's no more affordable way, literally, to get into sewing clothes. I'm sorry. Like, and to actually walk away with a wearable tee. Nancy says, I signed up immediately. Awesome. She says, I've had the pattern for a long time. So happy this won the contest. Yes, I had put out a survey to my email subscribers. I had narrowed it down to 3 different Jalie T-shirts. And so I had everybody vote. And 60% chose this top. So I was like, okay, I like it too. I need something breezy at the arms. I have large biceps too, so I needed something a little bit breezier. Perfect for Florida. Again, uses minimal amount of yardage, and I can whip one up probably in 25 minutes. I mean, that's, you know, if the fabric is cut and all of that. All right. Irene says, I already signed up. I'm waiting on my fabrics. Yay! Linda says, I have the video and pattern. I made this shirt before and loved it. So see, this is another great thing about my video courses because the videos don't expire. When we bring back these sew-alongs and kind of breathe new life into these courses, attract new students, it also gives those of you who have had the class for years an opportunity to revisit it, remake it, or you know how some of y'all do because the classes never expire. You just kind of sign up for them when they're on sale and keep them stashed away. This kind of gives you a way of like, oh, you know what? I think I have a little bit of time now. I'm going to make that top. And so we can revisit it, ask fresh new questions. I'm obviously going to be making more myself, and I'll be around to help you make your own, okay, aside from those video lessons. All right, now let's see. Oh, awesome. Lisa says, I went to sign up and found out that I already am. I think I never did it because shopping for the fabric was daunting, but I'm ready to get into it now. I am so happy to hear that. That's perfect. So you see, there's an example of someone who already had the class and hadn't made it yet. But as you work yourself, you know, work through these different projects, maybe you participated in the Westchester Sew Along or in another class that was easy. This is how you can go back and you know, tap into those lessons and access the content. Hi, Carla. Thanks for joining. All right. So again, the Jalie 3880 is the pattern. It is out of print. We are sold out. We will not be getting more in stock because they are out of print. So you'll need to find, maybe, you know, one of the vendors or something that still has a couple left in stock, or purchase it directly from Jalie. As a PDF version. You can print out the pages and tape or glue them together, or in that same PDF file, you will get the big sheet. So the same way that the hard copy pattern comes like this, you'll be able to send it to your local print shop so that they can print it out big for you, okay? So you can do it that way. And that way you'll always have the digital file too. If you're printing out the PDF pages to tape them together yourself, you don't have to print out all the sizes. You can select which size you want and just print out those pages. It makes it a little bit easier, less overlapping lines and stuff going on for you to cut it out, okay? And then that way you won't even have to trace it. Even though me, you know me, I trace. So here are my pattern templates. I keep them in a baggie like this, and then I write what the sizes are that are in here. So the ones that I make usually are a size Y and a size Z, okay? So those are size Y and Z end up being like the size 14. The Y is like a solid size 14 and the other one is like a 14 to 16. But you can see that even for my size here, it goes all the way up to size GG. So you have there's 7 more sizes that go up from my size, okay? So I trace them out, I label them, I put all the stuff here. And you can see that this is the back facing. It tells me to cut one, the fold line. I show you how to do all of this in the video lessons, how to trace it out if you're tracing. If you're doing the PDF, you save yourself some work there. All you got to do is get it printed out, okay? But the pattern sheets, the fabric, a ballpoint jersey needle in a size 80-12, and a sewing machine that can sew straight and zigzag stitch. That's it. Okay? And some good quality 100% polyester thread. That's it. Like you can literally make this. You don't need a serger at all, okay? The facing is all sewn. There's not even any top stitching here, okay? The top stitching happens in the facing and in the like the facing hem and in the hem of the actual garment. So LNG Holland is asking, how do I sign up? The link is in the description box below for you. We've also gone ahead and put it in the chat so that you can sign up there. Remember that the course price is $40 off. Right now, this week only. So if you're going to be, who was it that was up here that said that she already had the class? Lisa. So Lisa already purchased the class years ago. She had it in her student account. She went in to sign up again and saw that she already had it. So if that is you now, sign up for it now at this sale price so you don't, 2 weeks from now say, oh, I want to do that class. And then you go back and get sticker shock when you see what the regular price is. And then you're like, darn it, I should have signed up when Vanessa said, when Vanessa had that $40 off sale, okay? So you can do that now. You lock it in. You have the class indefinitely, okay? Elise says, yay, I have it already. I'm going to do it this time. Awesome. I love to hear it. So yes, if you already own the course for the Jalie Bobbie that we're doing this sew along on, all you need to do is log into the class. You'll find the information there on getting started, links to where you can find a couple of hard copy patterns that I tracked down on the internet. Other than that, I include the link to Jalie's website directly so y'all can purchase the PDF or the big digital download that you want from them. So that obviously, because you need the pattern to make it. And I included the information on the 2 live question and answer shows that we're doing, one this Sunday, one next Wednesday. If you can't attend live, no big deal. They're recorded and put into the course so that you can watch the replay. And then what else? Oh, and the links are already up so that you can submit your questions that I'm going to answer during those live question and answer sessions. Okay? So all of that stuff is set up. If you're already a student, you don't have to sign up for the sew along. Just log into the class. Everything is in there for you. Those of you that haven't signed up, remember it's $40 off the regular price. So regular price is $107 and it's $67 right now, which is a great deal because I think that's cheaper than what I charged when I taught this class in person at my brick and mortar store. And you know how it is. When you take a class in person, once you leave, the instructor is no longer with you. It's gone. And 2 months later, when you want to make it again, you will not remember a thing. With my video courses, you just log in, click play, and you're good to go. Now, a quick note, you can put them back on me with the front camera shot. And drink some water. Whoo! So one of the things about, and I totally blanked. What was I gonna say? Boop, 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 boop. I don't know. Let's see. I got a question here from D. Friesenhans asking, what's the width of the fabric? So because it's designed for stretch knits, you'll see that the width of the fabric recommended is, where is it? It's usually like 54, 58, 60 inches. They say 60 inches. So as long as it's not like 52 or 48, like going lower on that side, you'll be fine. Okay? But it calls for 60-inch knits, which usually I end up getting them like anywhere from 54 to 60 ends up working out fine for me. Okay? All right. Yeah, Winless Original says even full price, it's a great deal. It is because it never expires. You can always go back and do it. Or somebody sees you with the top and then they ask, hey, can you make it in my size? And you're like, I don't remember how to do it, but I think I can. And you log in and you watch the videos again and you do it, okay? Ellen is asking, can the arm length be extended to cover the arm flab? So remember that this is a dolman top. Before you start, and this is how I recommend it, how I teach my students, before you start making changes to the actual pattern, I always recommend that you make it the same way the designer intended first. Now, if you are one of the smaller sizes, but you still want more coverage on the arm, that's probably going to be a little bit easier because you can kind of, grade it out to like the larger size sleeve of the of a bigger size. Another option would be to keep it all the same as you normally would, but use a fabric that has more stretch along the lengthwise grain. That's going to give you more coverage here because gravity is going to be stretching the stretchiness of the fabric that it allows, and it's going to give you a little bit more. But because it's a dolman top, as long as you're using a fabric that has good drape, which it calls for in the pattern, it says, you know, use a knit with minimum 20% stretch along the crosswise grain that has fluid drape. You don't want to use a stiff knit, okay? Because if you do, remember, this is a dolman top. What's going to happen right here, because we have no separate sleeve, it's going to be super stiff. And if it's a thicker, stiffer fabric, when you put your arm down, you're going to see like a chunk sticking out like this of the folded, stiffer fabric, and you don't want that. So make sure that you're using something that's a little bit drapier. And then after you make one, you could probably be like, okay, I'm going to add a little bit more and just go kind of adapting the pattern, like changing it just to add a little bit amount of length to the sleeve area there, okay? You don't want to go crazy and say, okay, I'm going to add 5 inches because you're not sure if you need to adjust it in terms of making it wider, bringing it a little bit more in. You know what I mean? Like those are already hacks that you're doing to the pattern. So if you really want a lot more coverage, I would just recommend that you use another pattern altogether, something that has that full coverage in the arm. And that's always what I recommend, because by the time you end up tracing out multiple patterns, making the hacks, making the changes, you've wasted a lot of time and money. And if it doesn't turn out the way you want, you're going to be devastated. Okay. Let's see. Oh, Maribel says, for those that never took Vanessa's classes, you're going to love her. Thank you. That's sweet. Thanks so much. Let's see. Yes, Garnet says, having access forever is the best. Love that you did this for us. No problem. I love to see y'all's, your finished makes. And even if you haven't made it for a year or two, if you've been sewing in that time, garments or not, I guarantee you, your skills are going to be at a whole different level. So when you revisit it, you're like, why do I remember this being so difficult? Why was I so scared last time? And so I love to revisit these older projects because they're still relevant. They're evergreen. I mean, it's a cute V-neck T-shirt for the summer so that we can revisit and remake them. And plus, your fabric tastes might change. You might have learned more about knits from watching my videos and taking other classes. And now you know, oh, okay, those knits were not for me, or I don't really like them. They made me too hot and sweaty. And now you might know a little bit more about knits. So you choose one like that for this top. So, we evolve, we change. All right, Diane says, already signed up for the course. Awesome. Okay, so I just wanted to come on here and share with y'all, this is the sew-along that we're working on. There's only 4 pattern pieces. Don't be afraid of knits. You know who I'm talking to out there who still is like, she sounds convincing, but I'm still scared. Don't be. 4 pieces. Outside, pick a cute fabric, 1 yard. You can make it up to a women's size 24. Under, facing, 1 yard. That's all you need. Super comfy, perfect for the summer. And I hope to see a lot of pictures from those of you that have signed up for my class and are going to make the Jalie Bobbie, posting pictures of you wearing it, what we call out in the wild. You're going on a cruise? Janice, I'm talking to you. Wear your Jalie Bobbie and post pictures in the group so we can share it with everybody. Because that, I can stand up here and talk and try and convince you and tell you how easy it is and blah, blah, blah. But when you see other students who have made it, you see how it looks on them, you hear from them directly, that I think makes it a whole lot easier for new students or returning students to actually be like, okay, I think I'm going to give it a try this time, because trust me, you can make this one. Sewing machine with zigzag and straight stitch. That's it. No serger, nothing fancy, okay? All right, and Winless Original says, I can't wait to make another one. I have all these fabrics. Go ahead and give them the over-the-shoulder shot just so they can see. I pre-washed all my fabrics. These are offcuts from the fabrics that we're selling on the site because there weren't, some of them, had like a little snag here or there. Or they weren't quite as much as I needed for the top. But see, look at this knit. This is like a little slub heathered tissue knit almost. Well, maybe not tissue knit. It's not that sheer, but you see how light it is? This is perfect for the outside of the shirt or for the facing. This solid pink is cotton spandex. Perfect for the outside of the shirt. It's a little plain. Just pink like that for me is a little boring. But for the facing, perfect. Okay? Something more fun. We have these, I think we're all sold out of these rayon. It's like a rayon and poly and cotton spandex blend. These stripes. I'm going to tell y'all right now, for those of you that ordered the stripe fabrics, Ain't nobody got time to be matching these little baby stripes on the side, so don't worry too much about that, okay? I got this fabric and I'm like, it's cute. It's, very neutral, like you can wear it all the time, just black and white, cute with anything. But these stripes are about 1/8 of an inch thick. If I were you, and I've already made myself one out of this, nobody has time to be matching these stripes. So if you're scared about that, or you're just like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that, maybe then don't get a striped fabric. But a solid color on the outside and this black and white stripe as a facing would be a cute pop of a black and white print popping out the sides here. That would be cute. We had this knit. This is another cotton jersey with these fun polka dots. Again, you could do solid for the outside and then this for the facing. That would be a cute little pop of color. You could do this for the outside and this as the facing. So play around. See if you have any knit fabrics that have minimum 20% stretch along the crosswise grain. That's all you need. If you have more stretch, like a good bit of stretch along the lengthwise grain, all it's going to do is make the garment longer, okay? And these sleeves be a little bit longer. That's it. Okay, so play around, see what you have in your stash. My team is cutting up more fabric, so we'll be listing probably some double brush polyester spandex, a couple of cotton spandex that we still have here. We're cutting them up so that we can add them to the website for inventory as being in stock. And so when I go live for Whip Wednesday, we're still going to be talking about the Jalie Bobbie, so we'll share that info with y'all there. So if you're still on the fence and you're thinking, oh, she sold out of fabric, you don't want to try the class because I don't have fabric, or you're not sure what to get, check back. Sign up for the email newsletter and check your inbox, because on Wednesday I'm going to be listing more fabric for sale, and you definitely want to get in this course at the sale price because you're going to save $40. And trust me, you're not even going to spend $40 on fabric and the pattern, so you're good. You're saving good dollars right there, okay? All right. Okay. Linda says, I will definitely try. Let's see. Linda says, I love the throwback sew-alongs. Gets those patterns going. Absolutely. Ruby liked the denim blue. This is a pretty one. I don't have too much, but I'm going to see what I can make with this one. And let's see. Elise says, all my questions are going to be about getting the pattern. There's still a couple out there. If you log into the class, you'll see a couple links for patterns that I found on the web where you can get them if you don't want to print them out and send them to, Staples or stick the pages together yourself. But that's the options that we have right now. Windless Original says, I just got some really fun yellow floral DBP for another pattern, hoping I have enough to make a bobby with it too. That'll be awesome. And you got some cotton spandex left over from the Jalie PJ pattern, so perfect. Yep. Those of you that don't have a lot of cotton spandex left in your stash, check and see. You might have just what you need to make your size, okay? Because I'm saying 1 yard for the outside, 1 yard for the facing, but depending on your size, you might not need that much, at least for the facing part, okay? Brenda is asking, would a jersey knit work? Absolutely. So when I say cotton spandex, that's usually a jersey. Cotton jersey, cotton spandex. You want something with some stretch and that bounces back to shape though. Remember, 20% minimum stretch. The more stretch you get than 20, the more loose and comfy the shirt is going to be on you, especially if you're kind of in between two sizes or you're at the largest size that the pattern calls for and you feel like you need a little bit more room. Definitely go for a fabric that has more stretch than the 20. I mean, I don't even think I've ever maybe have owned any knits that have 20%. I need more stretch than that, regardless. A pattern calls for 40. Y'all know I'm using a fabric that has 100% stretch every time. I need to breathe, okay? Let's see. Okay. Yes, Music to Live By says, check your local online shop for the pattern. I snagged the last one at mine. Perfect. So see, we had some patterns left over from when we had our brick and mortar store. So I listed, they were already listed, but we sold out yesterday and we don't have any more. So check and see, if you know somebody or a shop that carries Jalie patterns, like the hard copy in person, check and see if they have 3880, the Bobbie. Okay. All right. Oh, Bonnie says, hi, Vanessa. I had 6 in my Etsy shop and sold out within 24 hours of your email announcing the course. Yeah. Sounds about right. I found one other one, I think, today. I just posted to like the Etsy search page today is the link that I put in. But that's good. Everybody get their hands on the pattern. It's no big deal. You don't have to have the hard copy pattern. If you want the hard copy big like this, just buy the PDF from Jalie and send it to your local Staples or whatever print shop, and they'll print it out. Because the file is the file that they print on these. So it's just, a little workaround, but you can still get it. It's not like we're teaching a class for a pattern that doesn't exist. It does. You just gotta, either tape the pages together yourself or print out the big copy, okay? But thanks for the heads up, Bonnie. Let's see. Oh, good. Windless Originals is recommending a Brooklyn motif printing. She says a small woman-owned business that prints out PDF patterns. Not pricey and definitely worth it. There's a lot of those PDF places like that. They just need to make sure some of them require that you send in the receipt to show that you actually purchased the PDF, that they're not just like mass printing PDFs that were shared, without the person actually purchasing them. So just make sure you buy the PDF, and then once you have the file, you can send it off to be printed. Okay? All right. So that's going to be it for me today. I will be sharing more info, some tips and things like that, giving y'all some tips on fabric choices, listing more fabrics for sale on Wednesday. So I'll be back on Whip Wednesday with another live show. So if y'all have any questions, first make sure that you're on my email newsletter, because that's where I send out all the details. And we'll be talking a little bit more about this top and other ways to get you excited about making it during this sew along. So again, the course is $40 off the regular price this week. So sign up. The link is in the description box below. Thanks, everybody. Oh, good. I'm glad you got a pattern at least. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing y'all's finished Jalie Bobbies. Have a good night, everybody, and I'll see y'all on Wednesday.